Okay, so last night we went to Six Flags Great Adventure for their Fright Fest. So this was such a cool event. It was our first year ever going, and I braved every single haunted house, and I wanted to tell you about them. So I got my little list here so I don't forget the names, and I also ranked them in order of my favorite. And we're gonna talk about Fright Fest and all of that good stuff. So number one, Fright Fest is not included with your admission ticket. You do have to pay separate, but I highly recommend splurging and getting the express wristband. The lines were super long and I thought they'd be lower on a Sunday night, but it was pretty busy. But because I had the express wristband, I just got to hop to the front of the line and I got to do all the attractions. So absolutely worth the ticket price. Two other things I wanted to mention is that the event itself is recommended for 13 and older, but they do offer these no boo bracelets, which we did buy for my son. And in the scare zones that are laid out all around the park, they can't get you if you're wearing one of these. The other thing I did want to mention is they had a lot of cool seasonal food specials, desserts mostly, and drinks. All right, so let's get into it. So this isn't like an hour long. At number 9, yeah, there was 9 haunted attractions, which is really cool. 9 was Wreckage. This was like an industrial theme, I would say. Not a lot of scare actors in this one, I felt. A lot of loud banging, which did startle me a couple times, but honestly, I wasn't just like super overly impressed with this one. It was also the end of the night, so maybe that's why. At number 8, I'll probably insert the graphics here too, so you can kind of see what the theme was. Number 8 was Total Darkness. This one was in pitch black. I'm not a huge fan of those. I like to see where I'm going. I bumped into the guy in front of me a bunch. They did have some cool effects in there with the way that the scare actors got to act. They had like the neon masks and stuff, so you didn't really see them until you were like on top of them. But overall, it's just not my favorite. At number 7, we have The Conjuring. Now, I had high hopes for this one, and let me tell you, it just wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. They had a couple cool scenes, some nods to the movie, and they did have a very realistic Annabelle setup, and that was really cool. I did like that. One thing also that I did want to mention is that for safety reasons, they have a bunch of security throughout the haunts. I get why they do it 100%, but I did feel like it took away from like the scene. Like if you're in the scene and you see someone with the orange vest, like that's kind of like, it takes you out of the moment. So I think that was like distracting me. Okay, so number 6, we have Trick or Treat. That is based on the movie. I actually have never seen that movie. I'll probably see it because that pumpkin-headed scarecrow thing is pretty scary. It was a cool house. They had a lot of cool like house effects, like you're walking into a house, like going trick-or-treating. I did like that. There was a couple jump scares, which I liked, but that one, I mean, it's just middle of the pack. It didn't stand out to me for being like extra cool, but I also liked it, if that makes sense. At number 5, we have Witch's Reflection. Now this was a mirror maze, which as soon as I walked in, I was honestly terrified thinking about It, which is one of my favorite movies. In the second one, Pennywise is in one of the mirror mazes, and it was cool because like you're looking one way and you can see the witches, but they're like not actually near you because of the way it's reflecting. So that was cool. That was the one house that I got Jason in. He loved it. It sucked it was at the end of the night because he loved it and I know he would have loved all of them. But the actresses in there were great. They were so funny. They recognized me going through the second time. And it was just a fun one. I really like that one. Number 4, Big Top Terror. This was the clown-themed circus tent. Now, I love scary clowns. I mean, I hate them. They're terrifying. Both of my children are being clowns for Halloween. So stay tuned for that. It's the first year they agreed to be the same costume. Mom win. This one was super cool. This one had the most jump scares. There was at one point an entire wall like fell and I was terrified. Something to note, I went through all these houses by myself. I was brave. I put on my big girl panties. So that was cool. But clowns are always scary. Like it was just scary. And also, so I forgot the best part. It was 3D. You put on glasses. So that was kind of trippy because you don't know what's real and what's not. And I like that. At number 3, we have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, that's a great movie, and they had Leatherface in there. They had the chainsaws. They had one scene that was like set up like a bus, like you walked through a subway station or bus. It was good. There was a lot of actors in that one, and again, the theming was 10 out of 10. Number 2, we have Army of the Dead. So this one had a very big line all night, and I can see why. This one is a Vegas-themed steel yard type situation. They had a tiger. They had acrobatists? Dancers. I don't know. Live performers in there. They had a guy dealing cards. They had slot machines. Like the theming was so cool, and I just really enjoyed this one. This was the second one I went in, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like this was really good. And last but not least, my number 1 pick is Asylum. It's not even close. This one was leaps above the others. It was so scary. The animatronics they had in there were so good. They had so many different scenes. It was crazy. They had like static TVs and like tormented people watching them. And they had a kids room set up with like the kids, grown adults, obviously dressed as little kids playing. It was scary as hell. Like that was one I wanted to run through. But I also wanted to really take it in. I honestly should have done that one twice. It was so good. And I've heard other people online talking about Asylum. I think that's their newest one. It was great. So Fright Fest at Six Flags, I would definitely go back. I honestly wish I had time to go back this season to experience everything else that they had. Like I said, they had a bunch of snacks, a bunch of desserts. They have all these live shows you get to see, and they had the opening ceremony, which was so good. Like, it really set the tone for the night. I was already feeling spooky season, but this definitely got me in the mood for Halloween. I'm gonna go and put on a scary movie while I deep clean my house, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.